All right, everybody. I think we are officially live. For the second time, I was having some technical difficulties, so hopefully this time everything is working all right and we're doing our thing. I don't know. So I'm going to see. Hopefully it's happening. If it's not, then I guess I'm just going to I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm having problems for whatever reason. All right, it looks like it's good. So once people start showing up, then let me know that you are here. Let me know that you could hear me and everything is good and we'll be good to go. So, all right. Thank goodness that it appears that we are live. All right, Brett is here. Thank you, Brett. All right, so this is take two. I started streaming before and I don't know. I won't get into all the technical stuff, but I am a doofus sometimes on the technical stuff. So, all right. Jean-Luc is here. Brett is here. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So it's been a little while since I have seen everybody. And I figured, you know what? Let's talk to everybody, see how their Easter went. Let's go over some Soulfinder stuff. I have not shown the Soulfinder Tunnel Hounds front cover on YouTube. Patrons have seen it. I put it on Twitter, obviously. I put it all over the place, but I haven't had a chance to stream yet because it's been a few weeks. And it's been a few weeks because, for the most part, there's not been stories that I really wanted to talk about. But now enough time has passed where we can talk about all sorts of stuff. So, all right, let me get back to my notes here since we're going over this again. And all right, Soulfinder Tunnel Hounds is at the printer. Everything is rolling along. And this is the front cover by Rodrigo Aviles. He also did the back cover as well. Rodrigo is our colorist this time around. I want to thank Matt Weldon for introducing me to Rodrigo a while back, and it has been a blessing to work with him. Dude's just awesome, super sharp guy, very intelligent. Totally got what I was putting out there with Tunnel Hounds and was coloring it, and then eventually kind of came up about possibly doing some artwork as well as the color work. And I was like, yeah, man, you're a cool dude. Yeah, sure. Let's see what happens. And this is what happened. And I was like, this has to be this is the front cover. This is it. I know that Dave Dorman rocks and he's done covers for us for years now, but I got to go with what I believe is the strongest cover. So Dave will also have a variant. There's like a limited, like, I don't know, I'll probably do like 100, 150, 200 of the hardcover with Dave's offering on it. But to me, this captured Tunnel Hounds perfectly. And part of that is because I think I said in the stream a while back is Rodrigo, he colored the book and he went through and he was reading the book and the script and he was just very intimately involved in the entire thing. Whereas with Dave, he just was able to have notes essentially, like, this is what it's about, because he's a busy guy. He's got all sorts of stuff going on. And I was like, here, this is basically what's going on. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what do you think about this? And I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. All right. So with Rodrigo, he was very deep into the story and the script and the characters and this. So it shows. It shows quite a bit. So awesome work, Rodrigo, and I think we're going to have him back with Volume 5 as well. So he has the script to that now, but again, he's a busy guy, and we'll see where that goes. But he has the script, and I would love to see what he does with it. Also, Alejandro Mirabal has already turned in a piece for Volume 5 that rocks. I've shown it to maybe a couple people, but it's really awesome. So I can't wait till you see Alejandro's work. So that's done. I know Matt Weldon has been doing work on Volume 5. So everything is rolling along. Very, 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 very happy. So yeah, awesome. Bam. All right, let's see here. All right. Speaking, let's see. Oh, I also want to thank Timothy Lim for introducing me to Matt Weldon, who introduced me to Rodrigo. So this is what I was saying on my first attempt at today's stream is if you ever see me get a little bit salty when people talk smack about Tim and Mark and what they've done over the years and mischaracterize who they are and those sorts of things, it's because I know who Tim is, and Tim's a super cool guy. He's a kind man. He's generous with his time. He's charitable in terms of helping people when they need help. And he's just gotten burned again and again and again over the years for just trying to help people out. And so that's why I get salty. Pretty much, Soulfinder would not exist as you know it today without Timothy Lim's help. People know he did Soulfinder Demons match, but he has basically introduced me to probably like 95% of the people that have worked on Soulfinder over the years. And yeah. And so it's like Tim is like the Soulfinder vine or something like that in some respect, and then all these other branches are coming off of it. And I guess I would be the root or something like that because I came up with Soulfinder. I'm the creator. So Matt, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. So like I said, the books are at the printer, softcover, hardcover. We are, as far as I know, there's a whole schedule thing with stuff going on, and I can't get into it. But basically, for what we're trying to do, I am like the first in line for certain things. And so we have plenty of time to make sure the formatting's right, and then we'll just go from there. All right, continuing on with Iconic Comics news. So, all right, the Kindred Heavens guys, Scott Malin and Bryce, they have their second book is coming out. They got the sign up is going on now. It was Scott's birthday over Easter. If you didn't wish Scott a happy birthday and you're into Scott's work, wish him a belated happy birthday. Kindred Heavens is the first book was really super cool. I enjoyed it a lot. All ages type of book. It left you on a cliffhanger. So if you're like me, you're like, I wanted more. I felt like that was a very sharp cliffhanger. But the good news is you didn't have to wait long for book number 2. So it doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, so sign up for book 2 is here. Studio Baba. And Scott and Bryce, they were recently at Anime Sunika down in Texas, and I am looking forward to seeing them at Bell County Comic Con this summer. Very cool guys, very friendly guys, and yeah, so all right, bam, that's that. The sign up for Kamen America Volume 9 is going on right now as well. That is going to be a super cool campaign. Don't want to get into all the details. You people know some of it in terms of the quote unquote action figures. And but yeah, Tim and Mark are at it again. 2024. They got cool stuff coming down the line. Kamen America Volume 9. So 1,497 people have signed up for the email list and notification for the day it drops, which is in the near future. So yeah, check that out. They're rolling along. Bam. This is not related. Oh, let's see. Bear with me here, Sven. Where are you, Sven? Butch Killigan has been fulfilled as well. At least the domestic. I don't know if all the international books have been shipped out, but the last I heard, the domestic books were shipped out. Where's Sven? And so I got mine recently from Iconic Comics. The artwork looks awesome. Thomas, thanks for tuning in. Mr. Grahovac, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. I have not had a chance to read it due to Holy Week was last week and Easter, and we're just doing stuff with that. And I was dealing with printers and all of that. So I already heard from I saw the reviews of people that, they didn't know anything about Sven, and they read the book and they're like, hey, this is actually like really pretty cool. So I know the book's cool. I know it's there. I will get to it soon. I read a little bit of it early on. And yeah, it seemed like it was sharp. So I know it's going to be a solid book, basically. And when Butch Killigan 2 drops, I will be there for Butch Killigan 2. People that I respect have said, like, nah, dude, it's solid. Check it out. So I will do that in the near future. It's just I've been juggling a lot of stuff. Sven, congratulations on getting the book out there, fulfilling it, and the good word of mouth on Butch Killigan. Very cool. All right. And then the other thing, I guess I'm going to keep bouncing around iconic stuff, is if you got the Soulfinder book stand the first time around when it came out last year, thank you for that. But also, there is a version 2 now. So it's a learning process. The first one, it was top heavy at times. So if you kind of hit it at all, it would fall over. And so you had to be very careful around it, which was hard at shows. Version 2 has a weighted back to it, so it's not, so if you hit it at all, it's not going to tip over. And then it also has an image with a backer that you could slide in there, and you could put the book up against it. So that way, that adds even more stability to it. So thank you for those that took part in the learning process, and you got version 1. But now we have version 2 coming out, and I already had people asking me, okay, well, when are you going to come out with these? Because I would like one of those, and for sure by Bell County Comic Con. Basically, everything revolves around Bell County Comic Con, and I'm very happy with the way that turned out. And the guy that I met who did that was actually, that was West Texas Comic Con, which I did with Matt Weldon. All right. Using that as a springboard to Matt Weldon in Easter. Matt came out with new Easter art. If you don't follow Matt on Twitter, check him out. He is on Twitter. And also, I think he has a new account on Instagram. He was not on Instagram for a while because Facebook and all of them were being weird about him providing all sorts of material and whatever. Anyway, you should be able to find Matt once again on Instagram. Look him up. Got new religious art. Matt has always been very cool about allowing me to have the religious art in the books. So this might end up in volume 5 down the line. I don't think it'll be in volume 4 because we already got everything to the printer, unless they're like, hey, we're 1 page short on bonus art. But I don't think that's going to happen. So this page might end up in volume 5. Who knows down the line? People like the religious art. Speaking of Easter, Tim came out with his art as well for Easter. Check it out. Well, actually, not his, but this particular account. So I'm not going to even try and pronounce that, but check out the account. And then also, hopefully I'm not repeating myself because, like I said, I had technical problems and I started and I had to restart. Jean-Tristan Bonnet, I think I pronounced that right. He's a French artist. He did some work for me that I thought matched perfectly with Easter. And I want to thank him for that. If you're out there, if you're possibly tuning in, thank you. I shared this on Instagram. He is on Instagram for sure. I don't believe he's anywhere else. I know he's a busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on, but he made time for Soulfinder and really like what he did with it. I always like reaching out to different artists if I think they're solid artists and seeing what they have on the agenda or how their take on Soulfinder. So Jean-Tristan Bonnet, thank you very much. Speaking of Easter, Captain Cummings, if you're out there, Captain Cummings is now officially in the Catholic Church. So very cool. Very, it's hard to describe how happy I am for Captain Cummings. I met him years ago. I want to say it was 2017, late 2017, when we first met, and we are still friends to this day. And it's been very cool to see his spiritual journey and see him end up in the Catholic Church. I'm laughing because, I know there's some people that are probably not happy about that. And actually, speaking of that, I was going to, this is not who I'm talking about. He has no, I'm sure he has like no real huge opinion on it, but Zero for Hire, I was at his Twitter page today, and I saw that was someone. He was saying, he was like, "Hey, does it matter if I wear the rosary? I think this rosary looks cool." And then there was some guy that was just like, "Oh, Catholics, blah, blah," like essentially, Catholics, worship Mary 10-1 over Christ, and you don't want to wear that, blah, and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, okay, dude. So Captain Cummings, this is what you have to look forward to in the years ahead. You already know this. People telling you what you believe, and even if you say that's not what I do, that's not what I believe, they'll be like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You worship Mary, blah, and all this sort of stuff. And you're like, that's not true. I actually just love my heavenly mother, and I can never love my heavenly mother more than Christ loved his mother. But I digress. Anyway, I recently did a podcast with Zero for Hire and his friends. I don't have a link right now. I don't think it's on YouTube quite yet. It probably will end up there. But when I get the link, I will share it. It's just a bunch of Christian dudes talking about stuff that's in the news. And they asked me if I would be on and talk about Soulfinder and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And I know Zero for Hire also has a book that's coming out, and he was asking me if I had feedback on certain things. And I was like, no, not because it's you, but because I've had bad experiences. You try and help people, and then they blame you for their failures. If it didn't perform the way that they wanted it to perform, then magically you are the devil. I've literally been called demonic. We'll get into that in the near future here, because once again, it's the story that won't go away. Comic Book Hut. Thank you for your smear campaign. When your campaign imploded, it will never go away now. So anyway, thelastdaycomic.com. I told Zero for Hire that I would at least point people to the website. They can check out the artwork. They can decide for themselves. I know he wants feedback. You could look at the artwork, decide, let him know what you think, and we'll go from there. Bam. Also, slightly unrelated, Clint Stoker, Downcast 4, he has an Indiegogo campaign. It's doing pretty well. This all leads, we're all going to one place with this conversation here. So yeah, Clint's been doing pretty well with his book. I am happy to see Clint continue to put out new books, despite obstacles that pop up here and there. So, all right, Clint. So check out Downcast 4 if you've enjoyed Clint's work in the past. And I think, he's got a Matt Weldon cover in there as well. Always happy. Oh, where was it? I think he's got like original artwork, or maybe it's sold already. I don't know. I thought there was original artwork somewhere. Maybe it's an add-on. Maybe it's sold. I don't know. But there was original artwork, but I'm not seeing it right now. But I don't have money to drop for original artwork at the moment. Maybe down the line I will. But check that out. So bam, AL. I had to use a direct link to find Downcast 4. Indiegogo won't let me search for Clint's campaign. Edwin, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Kevin, thanks for tuning in. Says, where you been? When it comes to live streaming, if I don't have something interesting that I want to talk about, then I'm just not going to stream. So usually I'll wait a week, but then I waited a week and then there wasn't anything I really wanted to talk about. So I was like, it's been a couple weeks and it's after Easter. So I was like, all right, I'll catch up with people, see what's up with them. And like I said, check out the Kamen America, the sign up page for Kamen America 9. Boom, got that out of the way. And what else do we got to say? All right. Bell County Comic Con tickets are on sale now. Just so you know, if you haven't been to Bell County Comic Con, you might want to consider it. Every year, it's a blast. Everybody has a good time. Last year, we had a reader from Puerto Rico flew in. That was cool. We've had people drive up to 14 hours to come in. There's another Soulfinder reader. I think he's driving. Well, I don't want to like even give his state away, but he's driving from multiple states away, probably like 10 hours. Captain Cummings, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Said, congratulations on entering into the Catholic Church. Very cool, very cool. And you have a lifetime now of people giving you crap for being Catholic. So prepare for that. That'll be fun. But we could just laugh about it together. So Bell County Comic Con. And also, just so you know, the creators of Iconic Comics will be bouncing around the country again later on this year. I might be doing the West Texas show again this year. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I let everybody know, like, hey, if you want me to come down to West Texas, I am game for that again. Had a great time in Portland last year. If Portland happens again this year, I'm game for that. There's another show that's coming up in June that I am going to, and that details will be coming out about that. So, bam. All right. Did we cover that? Eventually, we could get into Easter stuff, political stuff. What was it? Joe Biden. Where was it? They had the Easter. I guess I can talk about it right now. We're talking about Easter. They had the Easter egg hunt at the White House, and the White House made sure to let the kids know, hey, for the Easter egg hunt, make sure that you don't put any images on your Easter eggs that actually have anything to do with the true meaning of Easter. And, you know, you might not want to put a cross on your little eggs there. You might not want to put a little heart with Jesus or something along those lines. No, we don't want that. Basically, we want you to just color your eggs blue for like the Democratic Party and just make a bunch of blue eggs. Because blue is good. Blue. Yum, 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 yum. So that was really weird. And then I guess they came out with this. They decided that this year, they want to make sure that people know that Easter this year was actually sharing the limelight with the, I don't know, Trans Visibility Day or whatever they called it. And you're like, they're going out of their way to just jab Christians. Oh, you think it's about the resurrection? You think it's about Christ defeating death? Oh, we're just gonna little jab you right there. And then I guess in New York City, they were for Easter, they started, and Trans Visibility Day, they were lighting buildings rainbow and all of this sort of stuff. And you're like, you're just going out of your way to instigate people. You're going out of your way to make people mad. We see what you're doing, and you like to play the victim. You like to be like, oh, woe is me. They're coming, blah, blah, blah. They don't like, but no, you are going out of your way to stick little needles in people's, you know, their butts or their eye or whatever. And then you're just getting mad that people are like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And Joe Biden, the media is always like, Joe Biden's, he's such a devout Catholic. He's such a devout, everywhere, which way he turns, he's finding ways to undermine Catholicism. He doesn't even agree with like the basics of Catholic. It doesn't even make any sense. He goes out of his way and allows, you know, and you could say, oh, well, he doesn't even know where he is these days. He's old. He's out of it. They got to drug him up just to, you know, put him on uppers just to be able to like host events or whatever. Okay, well, maybe if you do believe that, he has a wife. So his wife, his spouse, knows what's going on, and she's signing off on all this sort of stuff too. So if Joe's not in control, his wife's there. She knows what's going on. She's watching everything. So she's not speaking up. She's signing off on all of this. So again, these are shells of people with rotten spiritual yolk matter inside. The expensive suits and tailored clothes are like painted eggs, hiding the ideological stink that erupts when you crack the surface. So they could say all they want that, oh, Joe's a devout Catholic. He prays the rosary every single day. Every single day. Does he? because I don't know how anybody can pray the rosary every day and say and do the things that he does. It doesn't make any sense. I've never met anybody that professes to say the rosary or on a daily basis or on a regular basis that acts like he does. It doesn't make sense. When you pray the rosary every single day, you're not going to tell children that they can't put Christ type symbols on Easter eggs. You wouldn't pick Easter to be Trans Visibility Day. You wouldn't support abortion, and you wouldn't support abortion up until the crowning, the kid's head was coming out of the vagina. So like, oh, we're gonna, okay, yeah, that's not. Anyway, I could go on and on about this, but this was one of the weirdest things that I've seen in a while. And this is how you alienate millions and millions and millions of voters. Very interesting. It's like, actually, if I were Donald Trump, the mess that he's going to inherit, you're like, well, if Trump wins, you're like, it's almost like they're just trying to make the biggest possible mess ever and be like, okay, well, welcome back to the White House, brother. Here you go. And then they just give you just this absolute disaster area of a country that they managed to just screw so many things up in such a short amount of time. It's crazy. Let's see. Captain Cummings, I need to start praying for Biden every day. Yeah, I mean, he needs some serious prayers. Thomas, St. Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. Indeed, indubitably. Edwin says ridiculous. AL, Biden is a joke. Am I missing one? Tom, the ones you don't want to pray for the most are the ones you most need to pray for. Yeah, seriously. This guy needs some serious prayer. He is he is out there. That's the best way I could put it. And he's being taken advantage of. That's for sure. And his wife should feel ashamed of herself for like this again. Half the time he's like coherent, like probably like 30% of the time these days. The other 70%, she's just pushing them out there, and who knows? But these are gross people. I'm sorry to say it that bluntly, but gross people. Boom, her intentionally antagonizing. Yeah. So, all right, we mentioned all of that. Again, Captain Cummings, welcome to the Catholic Church. Very cool. And blah, 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 blah. All right, now do we want to go to the weirdness? Do we want to go to the weirdness? Yeah, let's go to the weirdness. So this is something that happened over the past couple weeks. Very interesting. Again, the story that will not die. But let's preface it first with a little rant on social media, X, Twitter, YouTube, all of that. So this is a little tweet today. Social media often rewards amoral and immoral people because those individuals craft plausible lies, casting themselves as heroes or victims as situational opportunities arise, knowing full well that plausible lies are blindly believed by outsiders. Most people do not have the time to examine claims made online. Bad actors exploit an audience's inclination to accept what they're told if it sounds true. If you're an honorable man in 2024, the online game is one where you might as well be playing with an arm tied behind your back and a mitten on your good hand, but it's worth it. Stay honorable, accept the handicaps you're given, tell the truth, and don't become the twisted version of yourself the algorithm wants you to become. All right, so we're going to get into it, the story that will not die. So this happened, Captain Cummings and I experienced this over Holy Week of all weeks. Makes no sense. But you know what? I'm going to address it because it's the story that will not die. And a lot of interesting things happened to me. So I'm minding my own business, and there's this Twitter account, calls itself Comicsgate Drama. Now, the very interesting thing about this Twitter account is it claims it wants to objectively report on the ongoings in Comicsgate, right? Now, if you go back in time to the Comic Book Hut's YouTube channel, he'll probably delete it like he deletes everything else. When he came back for like the 10th time in, I want to say like early in the year or whatnot, he said in his video, he's like, listen, I just want to objectively review Comicsgate. I just want to be objective. That's what I want to do. I want to just be able to call the balls and the strikes, and I'm objective and blah, 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 blah. Then, shortly afterwards, this Twitter account pops up, Comicsgate Drama, saying objectively reviewing Comicsgate. Very interesting that they would both show up the same time with the same exact goals. Now, we know that Comic Book Hut loves Jack Kirby, totally loves Jack Kirby. And this particular account has the Watcher as his avatar. Very interesting. I could go on and on about all the things. Anyway, during Holy Week, of all weeks, this account starts bringing up the Comic Book Hut stuff out of nowhere. So I'm like, what is going on? And then, where is it? All right, we already covered that. Bam. Then, out of nowhere, where is it? Our old friend Ethan. Our old friend Ethan says, why the F would Doug Ernst drop $1,000 to Comic Book Hut for his mom's funeral? That's a lot of money for Doug. Oh, well, I didn't know. Ethan knew what my bank account was. Wow, he has access to my bank account? He knows how much money I have with my wife? That's really weird. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know anything. He knows nothing. But he does know that I had the ability to put out Soulfinder Black Tide hardcovers and soft covers without crowdfunding. He does know that I had the ability to then put out Soulfinder Infinite Ascent hardcovers and soft covers without crowdfunding. He does know that I had the ability to put out Soulfinder Warcry without crowdfunding. He does know that I have the ability without crowdfunding to have Soulfinder Tunnel Hounds and Soulfinder Noctis Terrari printed without crowdfunding. Now, I will most likely crowdfund after the books are printed to recoup the costs to some extent and also properly pay Matt Weldon for Soulfinder Volume 5. True. But the fact of the matter is for years, I haven't been crowdfunding at all. And I've paid for my artist, paid for the colorist, paid for the lettering, paid for the printing, and I've traveled all around the country going to different shows, whether it's the Carolinas, whether it's Portland, Oregon, whether it's Orlando, Florida a couple years ago, whether it's Texas, whether it's Arkansas, go on and on, West Texas, go on and on and on. So the idea that $1,000 for somebody who comes to me and says, you know what, I'm not going to mock his voice this time, who comes to me and says that his Catholic mother died and he is Catholic and he doesn't have enough money for a funeral, blah, 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 blah. Captain Cummings attested to this as well. The idea that I would try and give this, here we go. Here's my tweet in response to this. So again, I was minding my own business, not talking about any of these people. This account out of nowhere just pukes up all the hot stuff again. So of course, every single time this stuff comes up, guess what happens to me? Let's see what happens to me. People try and break into my social media accounts, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube. Years ago, I had my identity theft protection tripped because somebody ran a credit check on me. This is when I was called an SJW trader years ago. And with Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini, magically there was a credit check that was run on me and it tripped my identity theft prevention. Just so, and also the same time, people were trying again and again and again to get into my Facebook and Twitter and all of this sort of stuff. This has gone on for years. So the other day, somebody tries from Bardstown, Kentucky, or somewhere in the vicinity, tried to get into my LinkedIn account, which I never even use. I have it. It's like I almost never use it, barely ever. But I have connections to people from the newspaper, people from the army, people from comics, all of these sorts of things. Somebody wanted to get into my professional network and then screw with me. Most likely, sending people bizarro, I don't know, who knows, sexual. They like sexual things. They tend to go that route. Totally screw with my professional network because they wouldn't know. All of a sudden, somebody I worked with at the newspaper gets a message from me that's vulgar or vile or sexual or something like that. And who knows what they were going to do with it. But it clearly wasn't good. So I'm minding my own business. I'm not even talking about these people. I haven't talked about them for years. The only time I ever talk about them is when they puke up. That's what they do. They puke up this sort of crap over and over again. And then they say, our old friend Ethan, nobody gives an F about Doug Ernst. Really? They don't? Then why on earth are you talking about me if you don't give an F about me? You clearly give an F about me because you're talking about me and you're talking about my bank account and whether $1,000 is going to put me out or not. Very, very interesting. Very, very weird. So again, minding my own business, this Comicsgate drama guy for days, literally days, is relitigating the comic book hut stuff. And now I got to wake up in the morning and I got to reset passwords and go through all the rigmarole with that sort of stuff because people are trying to break into my stuff. And I'm like, listen, you got to just reset your passwords just to be on the safe side, double check, triple check to make sure you got, the 2-step or 3-step verification process because these people are psychotic. They're weird. And that takes up time out of my day. This has gone on since, again, 2018. I never talk about this stuff, but every single time these guys start going down this road, people try and mess with my passwords and blah, 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 because they're unstable individuals. They have mental illness. So thank you so much. I wouldn't even mind if it was true, but it's literally false. The things that they're saying are false. So, nobody gives a F about Doug Ernst. You clearly do. You clearly do, dude. And here's the other thing. So, Thomas Royloop pointed this out. And so what they do, this shows you how much they need to, so how tightly they have to control the details that get out to people. So people start, posting evidence showing like, this is a lie, this is a lie, this is a lie, this is hypocrisy, this is hypocrisy, this is hypocrisy, double standard, double standard, double standard, exaggeration, 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 twisting the truth, funhouse mirror sort of stuff. And magically, Comicsgate drama, just like the comic book hut, whenever you make a point that he doesn't like, that makes him look like an idiot, boom, just like the comic book hut used to do, delete, 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 and apparently he's banning multiple people. I guess he banned Thomas. There was other people that he banned as well, deleting all of their comics, or the comments, and all this sort of stuff. So it's like, yeah, anytime anyone posts something that shows that these are giant liars, the evidence is covered up. Where is it? Let's see. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Irish eyes are smiling. Blah, blah, blah. CG NPC cover up. Yeah, it is a cover up. Boom. So thank you, Thomas. Thank you, everybody that tried to actually, post something to show that these are liars. They're total liars. So, and then, you know what? Let's see. All right. We already went over that. Where's the other one? All right. So then, you know what? Just to show these people that you never know, I will randomly, I got years of receipts. I will drop some truth bombs on your head. This is what I did. So look at this. So it's perfect timing. April Fool's Day. This actually took place either a day or I want to say like a day or two after April Fool's. So let's go over it, shall we? Shall we? All right. Ethan wants to lie about me. So today I'm going to drop. Let me get this up. So I'm going to drop a truth bomb on his dishonest head that he never expected. Comic Book Hut put out a doctored image years ago and tricked all of Ethan's subscribers into thinking his insanely like book was done. You could not tell it was a fake message. When I found out after work, I told Hut it was wrong. I literally told him to not be dishonest. I told him to always tell the truth. I told him to tell the truth to everybody he misled and issue corrections or else it was dishonest. Hut came to me when I worked at the newspaper and said he wanted to become a Tom Brokaw type figure in indie comics. He wanted to learn from my experience. He literally called himself Hut Brokaw at times. This guy wanted to be the objective reporter of Comicsgate years ago. That's what he said he wanted to do. So then he came to somebody that worked at a newspaper and was asking that person questions. And he was also a Soulfinder reader. So he was one of my own readers. He knew that I worked at a newspaper and he wanted to be an objective reporter of Comicsgate like a Tom Brokaw type figure. And he literally called himself Hut Brokaw. So me, I tried to be like, hey, dude. Oh, well, let's go on. I tried to impress basic journalistic ethics on him. I told him to tell the truth always. Contrary to what Ethan says, this shows that everything these guys have been saying, it's like they just took the truth and bloop, they just turned it on its head. Contrary to what Ethan says, I actually shielded him from lies and always tried to get the Hut to ignore his bizarre, oh yes, it was bizarre, truly bizarre impulse to lie just like Ethan. I told him the biggest enemy Ethan has is Ethan and his own words in context. That's very important. His own words in context. If you come to somebody that works for a newspaper and they tell you you should just focus on the person's exact words in context, that's good advice. Did he take my advice? No. Let's see. Hut often ignored me. He came to resent me because I would not lie to him and told him not to lie to others. Did I talk to Hut about the time Ethan's friends said I should be raped, for example? Yes. And then they like to say like, oh, you keep saying that over and over again. Where's the video? Yeah, where is the video? That's a good one. First of all, it's in Vicky's feed because I pulled it from Vicky's feed. Also, you should probably ask the Comic Book Hut about that since he deleted, I don't know, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 videos to cover his tracks. So anyone who tried to put him under any sort of scrutiny couldn't find out that he was just lying out of his butt, comic book butt. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. I'm allowed to defend myself when people lie about me to thousands of individuals on social media. I'm allowed to keep clips since these jerks often delete the streams and deny what they did. I shielded Ethan from lies when I had an opportunity, even though he lied about me. This is the guy that said I was in a conspiracy with Preston Poulter. And when I saw someone lying about him, I said, hey, don't lie about him. Do not lie. Okay? I didn't need to do that. I could have just turned a blind eye to it. Like, whoop, who cares about that guy? I didn't do that. I actually confronted the person lying and told him, tell the truth. Because I never lied about Ethan. And I always tried to discern the truth. And anytime I was asked a question about him, I told the truth. If someone comes to me and be like, hey, Ethan said your book sucks, Doug, and that you're a bad writer and blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. What do you think about that? I'd be like, yeah, that sucks. That's kind of weird since he said I was a great writer years ago. And like, oh, I was a great writer years ago, and then magically now I'm a bad writer. Okay, that's weird. Very interesting. These are bad people. These are dishonest people. I am glad that time is showing the indie comics world the truth about them. And I am. So here's the receipts. April Fool's Day receipts are the day after or whatever, but it was related to April Fool's. So again, there was this guy in Hut's comments section who was just like, he actually thought Hut across YouTube, Twitter, and who knows what else, whatever. He did a video on it. He put it in his comments section or his whatever community tab. This fake doctored image that Ethan was saying that his book was complete when it wasn't, and people didn't know it. And then he took Ethan to task about the fake tweet and all this sort of stuff. And all sorts of people were like, what is going on? Blah, 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 blah. And they were confused because you couldn't tell that it was doctored. So then I had been working at the newspaper or whatever. I got off, I go to bed, I wake up, and I see people like this guy, Justin here, is confused and they're angry. They don't understand. And Hut's not going to tell people that he was joking. He was just going to let them run with it. Just believe a lie. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? I let guys like this know that you put out an update on April Fool's Day saying it was a joke. If they find out later, then they'll get mad at you and quote, why did I say question your reporting, Hut Brokaw? Because he wanted to be Hut Brokaw, and he came to a guy that worked at a newspaper and was asking about things related to journalistic ethics and how I go about doing things. And so I was like, I just quote people as accurately as I can in context, and that takes care of like 90% of the work. People will hang themselves if you let them. Just let them talk. And they'll do, and that's what these guys do because they're liars. The more that they talk, the more that they talk, the more that they talk, the more that they hang themselves all the time. And so that's why people are like, well, why did you wait for like 6 months or a year to drop receipts on these guys? Because I gave them the rope that they needed to hang themselves. And then I just sat back, and every single lie they tell, they just keep hoisting themselves higher and higher and higher. And then they're hanging. And then they have somebody, one of their fellow liars, tie it off, and they'll just hang there, twisting in the wind, choking to death on their own lies. And I'm just sitting there laughing. So I'm like, yeah, you're a bunch of liars. So I'm going to let you lie. And eventually your lies are going to get so big that I'm going to be like, you ready for this? Here's a little truth bomb for you. Boom, boom. So yeah, anyway, so Hut posted a correction like a reporter should when they either, well, you don't want to lie, but in his case, lied. But a correction, I posted it in my community and tweeted it out. Well, that's not good enough, dude. And I told him that. And you should correct people in your comments section who didn't see it. So that was him trying to walk it back. He knew that he lied. He knew people believed it, but he didn't want to actually let people know the truth and then have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I lied. So if you don't while answering others, you're being dishonest. Let me repeat that. If you don't while answering others, you're being dishonest. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. Yeah. So the people's champion, the people's liar. So again, I showed, and that's the other thing that they always do. They're like, well, Doug, you were talking crap about Clint Stoker, blah, blah, blah. Did I already delete the Clint Stoker thing that I was going for? Anyway, so what they don't even understand is the clip that Hut asked for. Again, this was at his request, was Ethan talking crap about Clint Stoker years ago. And simultaneously talking crap about Iconic Comics. Anybody that thinks about going to Kickstarter with those traders like Iconic Comics, Clint, Iconic Comics is at Kickstarter. If you think you're going to Kickstarter, that's where Iconic Comics is, and they're a bunch of traders. Duh. So people 2 years ago were like, Doug Ernst was attacking Clint Stoker. No, you would know if you actually saw the videos that I was one of the few people that was sticking up for Clint and I did so on my live stream as well. So what these guys do is they're always just like, Doug Ernst was secretly harboring all these opinions. No, I wasn't. I told these guys off to their faces on their own streams years ago. I told these guys off on my own live streams multiple times. I told these guys off privately via DM, and I told these guys privately on the phone. I told them off every which way to Sunday. Everywhere. I told them how they feel, and that's the reason why they don't like me, is because over and over again, no matter where there was a confrontation, I told them, hey, guess what? I think what you guys bring to the table is bad news. I think you guys are a bunch of liars. I think, you know what? Pound sand, brother. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. So that's why they don't like me. It's not that I was harboring some sort of secret thing against them. And then they're just like, yeah, they're going off about email subject lines, and they always pretend. You'll get guys like this. They'll be like, you sent hot emails. I was like, what is the content of the emails? Do you actually see the content of the email? You sent them emails. Yeah. Yeah, you saw a subject line. That's all you saw. And they're like, well, what did you do? What did you say about Richard C. Meyer? I sent a clip at Hut's request of Richard saying that Iconic Comics was the gold standard in indie comics. That is not an attack on Richard C. Meyer. Richard saying Iconic Comics is the gold standard in fulfillment of indie comics. And then there was a clip, again, at Hut's request, when Richard said that Iconic was the gold standard in indie comics, his own readers, his own backers, his own customers said, well, how come you're not living up to the gold standard then? I don't understand why you're not living up to the gold standard. And then he deleted every single good thing that he ever said about Iconic Comics, while simultaneously saying that Iconic Comics was making indie comics not fun, and indie comics was too anal about fulfillment and distribution and all of that sort of stuff. So he memory hold all the nice things he said about Iconic Comics after his own readers told him to live up to the Iconic standard. So I was rightly, like, in my mind, I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous to delete every nice thing you said about us when people were holding you to the standard that you said was the golden one. So should I have sent those clips to Hut, or should I have told? In hindsight, I probably should not have sent them, just because Richard, he was under a lot of stress from his readers. I should have just, like, again, turned the other cheek, because whatever. But it's not an attack on Richard to send a clip of him saying that Iconic Comics is really good at what they do. That's all it was. Literally, it was in context, Richard saying nice things about Iconic. So whatever. So these guys, they're so stupid. They don't even know what they're talking about. They say I attacked Clint. I didn't attack Clint. I was defending Clint. They said I attacked Richard. All I was showing good clips of Iconic Comics that came from Richard's own mouth. So, again and again, if one day I might just for the heck of it, I might just randomly start dropping these clips, the lost comic book Hut clips, because they're awesome. One of the reasons why Hut deleted everything is because these clips they prove my point. And I keep saying that over and over again. These guys were saying I should be raped, sodomized with rusty instruments when I launched Demon's Match. He briefly reposted that a couple years ago. And then everybody was just like, "This, you're just proving Doug's point. He just launched Demon's Match with Timothy Lim. And then you guys said that he should have rusty instruments jammed up his butt. So why would you act like that's a problem at all? It's not. Like, a rational person would do that. So why are you saying that he was trying to be secretive? Because he actually responded to someone's email from his business account titled Douglas Ernst at douglasernst.blog. Oh, that's another one. So Ethan was just like, Doug Ernst, he was sending video titles to Comic Book Hut, and they were really witty. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, they were witty? Were they? Yeah, so now suddenly I'm a witty guy. Suddenly I'm good with words. Suddenly I'm a really good writer that can mix and match words all over the place to say things. Funny how that goes. But you know what's also funny is that Hut wasn't even using those things for his titles. He was coming up with his own titles. So you said I was doing something that he didn't even do. So if I wrote like a witty title or whatever, he just did his Hut thing that he did. It was me just entertaining myself when he asked me questions. So yeah, of course, when Ethan went after Clint Stoker as Clint launched his Dracula campaign, and Hut asked me for the clip, then I titled it Ethan is like Dracula, because he is like Dracula. You step foot inside his door, he's gonna try and suck you dry for he's gonna try and suck all the energy out of you for the rest of your life. That is, you accidentally crossed the threshold into Dracula's castle, and now you're gonna pay for it for the rest of your life. So yeah, that was the thing. He went after Clint during Clint's Dracula campaign. Hey, that's why it said Ethan on Clint Dracula or whatever the heck it was. And then Hut just did whatever he wanted to do because Hut always thought he was the smartest guy in the room, and he didn't want to dare to, acknowledge that maybe I know what I'm talking about. So even what they accused me of, that's why they erased these stupid videos, because, again, he was just doing his own thing. He did what he wanted to do. And here's another one. I'm just going to keep riffing on all this stuff because, these guys are a bunch of liars. So I was at work. This guy starts an argument with Aaron Lopresti over Ethan's Daddy Can't Rape Us All song. And then he gets into it with Aaron Lopresti's wife, Shelly Lopresti. I'm at work. I have no clue what's going on. And then a friend of mine reached out after this was going on for days. And he said, hey, I know you talked to Hut. Again, this was in secret. I was always friendly towards Hut publicly, and people didn't like that I was friendly towards him publicly. He's like, hey, can you tell him he's fighting with the Loprestis? Can you tell him to knock it off? And I literally, maybe I'll drop this receipt one day. I said, you can't tell that guy what to do. If you try and tell that guy what to do, he's going to just do the opposite of what it's just whatever. He doesn't, if he gets a whiff that you're trying to actually tell him what to do, he will just go off and do weird crap. That's what he does. I don't want to get involved in any of this sort of stuff. No, I don't want to get involved. I'm not involved. No, I'm not going to. So the receipts, which I haven't dropped, I got years and years worth of receipts, was me just saying, this guy, he comes to me. He asked me weird crap. He asked me for stuff. He asked me to help him with his resume. He helped me to ask him with a script. He helped me to ask him with his mom's funeral. Basically, being like, I don't have money. My mom's Catholic. I got to bury her. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're on a short timeline. What do I do? I'm Catholic. My mom's Catholic. I got to bury her. Okay. Well, here you go. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, yeah. And then, Tim recently, this was public. He was like, man, it's a good, you might want to one day drop your messages with another creator out there who also wanted to contribute to the funeral as well, because that'll show that he was just going around to people basically asking for help. He's got the hat out asking for help, and it wasn't that you just went out of your way to do it. There was multiple people that were involved in helping this guy with his mom's funeral, and I never did it. I never called out another creator out there. Now, I didn't rope other people into this. It would be nice, if people that knew the truth would speak up, but, not everybody's going to do that. That's fine. You don't need to speak up. It would have been nice. It really would have been nice if you would have just, came out and said something, but no, that's cool. Whatever. So yeah, Mr. Kovac is here. Jean-Luc, Doug is going full scorched earth biblically. Oh no, I have not begun to drop the receipts and go scorched earth. But the thing is, again, you want to, again, I never talk about these guys. The only time I bring them up is when they go out of their way to start pretending like they know what's in my bank account, know how much money I have and this and that. It doesn't even make any sense. It's like, again, minding my own business, doing my books, doing my thing. You want to come out here and start talking, that's a lot of money for Doug Ernst. Duh. What? You don't even know anything about my life, dude. You know nothing. Get out of here, freaking loser. So yeah. Dishonest losers. All right. I think that's about it for that. Let's see. What else we got here? Thomas, it's hard to stand out from the crowd on the internet. These are actions to help remedy that. Sometimes it's boredom or with malice for gaining position or any number of getting noticed methods. Yeah. So, and that was my point here, is not necessarily related to the hut stuff or whatever, but these guys will just lie and say like, oh, well, that's a lot of money for Doug Ernst. And then people will be like, that's a lot of money for Doug Ernst. Douglas Ernst was offering a lot of money. Boop, boop, bop, 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 beep, beep. And they just run with it. They don't even look into it. And the thing that's really annoying is when there's people, they have easy access to me and could ask me questions at any point in time, and they don't even do it. I have always answered people over the years when people came to me and asked me about this stuff because they didn't want to do so publicly, because they don't want people going through their social media trying to reset the passwords. So they'll come to me, and sometimes people who I believe are sincere will be like, hey, can you tell me, just tell me what's up with this. I told many people all of this stuff. And that's why, again, they tried to basically bury me with a mountain of lies. They take a kernel of truth. What they do is they take a kernel of truth here or there, and then they weave this tapestry of lies and stories, tall tales around it, and then they feed it to people because they know most people do not have the wherewithal or the desire or whatever to look into this stuff like a Thomas Royaloop here. Most people are not going to do this. They're not going to post screenshots of them quickly trying to dust everything under the rug. Anything that counters the false narrative, delete, hide, block. Yeah, that's what they do. And most people are not going to go to this place where they're actually trying to correct, put out the correct information, the truth, the full context of things. So you can say like, well, why did you even, why did you give him these clips? Like, I still think you should have totally ignored it. And to me, that's a valid thing. You'd be like, you know what? You should have just turned the cheek when they said that you were in a conspiracy with Preston Poulter to thousands of people, late at night at 3:00 in the morning or whatever it was. You should have just turned another cheek, Doug. And you know what? I'm human. I'm weak. When someone lies to me about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people on whatever the rewatches, yeah, sometimes, when my inbox fills up with people saying, Doug, what did you do to make poor Cecil upset with you? When I didn't do anything. I literally didn't do anything except do a book with Timothy Lim. Yeah. So if somebody asks me, can you send me the clip? Okay, I'll send you the clip. And I send anyone who wants the clips. Yeah, sure. Here you go. Because if it's in context and it's their stuff, I don't care. And they oftentimes will just delete these streams and then pretend like they never happened. So if you say this person did X, Y, and Z, and they deleted the stream, then they say, prove it, Doug. And then if you have the clip and you show it, they're like, why are you obsessed? And you're like, I wasn't obsessed, but you said it to thousands of people and they sent me the clip. So I'm going to send it to other people. So don't talk about me if you don't want me talking about what you said about me. It's really, really simple. So, yeah. Anyway, interesting. All right. So I don't think there's any like political stuff going on. I think I sort of said my piece. But again, minding my own business, not talking about them. You want to talk about me and you want to get all sorts of people riled up. You want to get people trying to change my passwords on my social media accounts. Eventually, I got to say something because I can't be, wasting time changing my passwords, double and triple and checking because of psychopaths, totally unhinged, unwell, mentally ill people out there that are trying to get into my professional networks because people want to lie about me. I gotta, sometimes say something. Anyway, to recap, Soulfinder Volume 4, Soulfinder Tunnel Hounds, and Soulfinder Noctis Terrari are on the way. They're at the printer, paying for hardcovers, paying for soft covers. You'll get them in the near future. Early June should be the soft covers completed. Hopefully everything goes according to plan. There's no printer errors. And then late June is supposed to be the hardcovers. And maybe I'll do a campaign. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to make sure Matt Weldon is appropriately compensated for his insane talent and willingness to continue to put his name on the Soulfinder series and all of that. So, Kevin, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Anyway, that's about it for now. Thanks again for tuning in. John Luke, you're right, Doug. The time has come to speak out, drop off. I'm not afraid of any of these guys anymore. That's all right. Let's just go for a couple more minutes. You got me rolling. So here's the thing, is once you have demonized a person to the extent that I have been demonized, once you have created a boogeyman that is so huge, I am this giant boogeyman to these people, which is weird because like the comic book hut had like 25 unique viewers and they were acting. Oh, that was the other thing. Ethan was saying like Doug Ernst had to control Comic Book Hut. He had to control them. Why? Why did I have to control him? What are you even talking about? Because if you didn't control Hut, he would be the Hut Unleashed. He would go off and do what? I don't know. Apparently, I don't know. Nothing. I don't even get the premise that I had to control the Comic Book Hut because if Hut wasn't controlled by me, then his chaotic energy would somehow be directed at Iconic Comics and he would destroy Iconic Comics. I don't understand. If I was willing to quote unquote pay people for content, wouldn't I go to people that are actually like, had content that would have influenced people in a like immediate and serious way to a large extent? Like, wouldn't I want the most bang for my buck if I was going to go that route? Which I didn't. In fact, I would do it myself. Oh, that's the other thing. These guys, they like lie. They're making up lies that like Hut never even said. So Hut just was like, yeah, he sent me like 25 videos over the course of 3 years. So I sent him clips for 25 videos over 3 years. 3 years. Think about that. Think about the thousands of emails that I received over the course of 3 years and sending somebody 25 clips. If anything, it's showing that I was restraining myself. I was trying to hold back against these people and just not get involved. But sometimes, hey, you say my books suck. You want to say that anyone that does business with Timothy Lim is going to abuse backer information. You want to lie about Timothy Lim on a regular basis. You want to say that I'm in conspiracies with Preston Poulter. Sometimes, dude, I hate to tell you, when people ask me about it, I'm going to respond. And that's just a natural consequence of your behavior. I hate to tell you that there are consequences in the real world for your behavior. These people all like to say, oh, it's the internet. It's not real. It's just jokes. Everyone's just messing with people. No, there are actual consequences in the real world when you lie to people, to thousands and thousands of others in your audience, because it has blowback. It literally has an effect. When you lie about people on a large scale, a percentage of those individuals are mentally ill, insane, they're not stable individuals, and they will go to strange lengths to do things to you and to hurt your family and to hurt your friends and to dig into your personal life and to cause problems. There are real consequences for what you say online. And when you lie about people, sometimes, I hate to tell you, they're gonna speak up and they're gonna punch back, and they're gonna punch you in the face. Sometimes they're gonna punch you in the face with verbally, and you're lucky that you're doing this in the internet age, and you're lucky you're doing it to people that are trying their best to be professional. Because once upon a time, decades ago, if you did this sort of stuff in the 80s, people are gonna find you and they're gonna handle it that way. But luckily, you're messing with people that actually try to turn the other cheek. Luckily, you're dealing with people that don't want to escalate situations. They want to de-escalate situations. I could go on and on and on. So let's see. Thomas DeVry, crabs in a bucket thing too. All statements online should be met as trust but verify. Yeah. So, all right. There was probably some point in there that I just I wanted to make, but I got off on a, there's so many things I could say about all of this. It's just ridiculous. But again, you want to keep coming at this point in time. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You want to make a boogeyman the size of Jupiter. You've already poisoned the well. There's no well, like it's poison, dude. Like, I literally don't care what you say about me anymore. So now I am free to say whatever I want about your behavior. And luckily, I'm trying to tell the truth at all times about what you have done. I'm not trying to lie about you. I'm not trying to, twist the facts or whatever. So, yeah. Anyway. Let's see. AL, the jealousy is real. Jean-Luc, the Hut Unleashed is a guy that buys ice cream. It means nothing. Fantastic stream, Doug, from Jean-Luc. So, yeah. All right. Well, I said my piece. Again, this comes out of the Holy Week, trying to get everything prepared for Easter. Captain Cummings is, undergoing his conversion. He's entering the Catholic Church. We're all happy. I'm happy. Tim's happy. Captain Cummings and his family are happy. Everybody, yeah, let's do this. And then, bam, you want to puke it all up, stuff from 2 years ago, because you need to distract from all of your current day problems in the mess that you have made across the indie comics landscape. You guys, fill your faces over and over and over again. Yeah, just keep burning bridges, dude, left and right and center and all over the place. And then you wonder why nobody likes you. You wonder why nobody sticks up for you when things don't go your way. Maybe it's because you keep burning bridges over and over again. And over time, people can see that that's who you are. Zero for Hire. Thanks for tuning in. Check out his YouTube channel. I mentioned his website at the start of the stream. So Zero for Hire. You could go back. You can see I mentioned your upcoming project. You might get feedback from people. But I also said, for reasons explained in this stream in great detail, why I try to refrain from giving people feedback on their crowdfunders or their books or their scripts or whatnot. But I also said that your work is looking pretty cool. I don't know what the final product is going to be. I hope it's awesome. But hey, people, check out Zero for Hire's YouTube channel. Check out his campaign page. Check out his Twitter feed. And if the project looks up your alley, cool. If you have feedback for him, send him feedback. All right. I think that is it. I will give updates on Soulfinder, Tunnel Hounds, and Soulfinder Noctis Trari in the near future. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.